Most people think you join the cartel. You don't join the cartel. The cartel finds you. It finds you when you're 14 years old, and your family has no money, and the man on the corner has more cash in his pocket than your father made in a year. It finds you when you're hungry and angry, and the neighborhood has already decided what you're going to become. It finds you before you're old enough to understand what you're agreeing to. By the time you understand, you already belong to it. Level 1. The Lookout. You are 14, maybe 15. Your job is simple. You stand on a corner with a cheap prepaid phone and you watch. A police car turns onto the block, you dial a number and say a word and hang up. That's it. $20 a day for standing on a corner you were already standing on. You tell yourself it's nothing. You're not selling anything, you're not hurting anyone, you're just watching. But you're not just watching. You're the cartel's first line of defense. You are a working part of a machine worth billions of dollars. You just can't see the machine yet from where you're standing. The man who recruited you is 17. He seems like the richest person you've ever met. New shoes every week, a phone that actually works, respect from people 3 times his age. You want what he has. You don't yet understand what he paid for it. 3 months in, a rival crew rolls through your block and shoots a kid 2 doors down from you. He was 13. He wasn't in anything. He was just outside. You keep showing up to your corner the next morning. That decision tells the people watching you everything they need to know. Level 2. The Runner. You're 16 now, and you've proven something. You showed up. You kept your mouth shut. You didn't run when things got dangerous. In this world, that's a resume. They give you a new job. You carry packages, a backpack, a grocery bag, a box that you don't open, because opening it was never part of the instructions. You take it from one address to another. You don't ask what's inside. You don't ask why. You walk like a normal kid, going nowhere in particular because that's exactly what you're supposed to look like. The packages get heavier. The addresses get farther. The money gets better. You're making $200 a week, then $500. Your mother asks where the money comes from. You tell her you're working at a warehouse. She wants to believe you, so she does. You've learned that people believe the story that hurts them least. One afternoon, a package gets stopped. Not yours. Another runner, a kid you know from school, gets picked up 2 blocks from the drop point. Police find 2 kilos in his backpack. He's 16. He gets tried as an adult. You visit him once before the trial. He tells you he didn't say anything. His eyes say he's terrified. Your eyes say you already knew he didn't talk because you'd still be standing here if he had. You walk out of that visiting room and go straight to the corner. You don't slow down. You speed up. Level 3. The Soldier. You're 18. You're not carrying packages anymore. You're carrying a gun. It's a Glock 19. Someone hands it to you like it's a set of keys, like it's nothing. But it's not nothing. You know what it means. It means you've been trusted with the thing that keeps everyone else safe. It means you've crossed a line that only goes one direction. Your job is protection. You stand outside certain buildings. You ride in certain cars. You make sure nobody who isn't supposed to be somewhere gets there. Most of the time, nothing happens. Most of the time, it's just waiting. Hours and hours of waiting in cars or hallways or corners, watching, saying nothing. But sometimes, something happens. The first time you fire a weapon at another person, you don't feel what you thought you'd feel. There's no big moment, no dramatic realization. There's just noise and movement, and your heart going so fast you can't separate one beat from the next. Afterward, your hands shake, and you want to throw up. And the man beside you says, "You good?" And you say, "Yeah," and he nods, and that's the whole conversation. That night, you lie awake staring at the ceiling. By the 3rd time it happens, the shaking is less. By the 5th time, there's no shaking at all. That's not strength, that's damage, but you won't understand the difference for years. Level 4. The Distributor. You're 22. You've survived 4 years as a soldier. That's not nothing. Most don't make it to 22. Some died, some went to prison, some just disappeared, and nobody asked where they went because asking where people went was how you disappeared too. You get promoted. You now control a territory, 6 blocks, then 10, then 20. You manage a crew of soldiers and runners and lookouts, younger versions of yourself. You remember being them, and you use that memory to manage them. You are responsible for product moving in and out of your territory. You take delivery, you distribute to street-level dealers, you collect the money, you pass the money up. Your cut is the difference between what you collect and what you pass up. For the first time, you understand the business, the margins, the volume, the logistics. Moving product is not so different from moving anything else. Supply chain, distribution network, customer base, demand management. You never finished high school, but you were running a multi-million-dollar operation with the precision of someone who did. You also run discipline. When someone in your crew steals, which happens, or talks, which happens, or gets sloppy, which happens most often, you handle it. The handling is never pleasant. It is always necessary. You tell yourself it is always necessary. You have a daughter now, 8 months old. You hold her on Sunday mornings, and she grabs your finger with her whole fist, and you think about the corner, and the package, and the gun, and you think about what you're building, and who you're building it around. You don't stop, but you start building walls between the two worlds. You think walls will be enough. They won't be. Level 5, the operator. You're 26, and the organization trusts you with something bigger than a territory. You run logistics for an entire corridor, product moving from the source, through the border, through your city, and out to the distribution network beyond it. You coordinate transportation, vehicles, drivers, routes, timing. You manage relationships with the people who move money back across the border. You manage the people who manage the bribes that keep the corridor open. You are no longer on the street. You wear normal clothes. You drive a normal car. You live in a normal neighborhood. Your neighbors think you work in import and export. They are not wrong. You have a phone that you change every 2 weeks. You have a second phone for your daughter's mother. You have a third phone that only 2 people in the world have the number to. You live in the space between these 3 phones, and you never let them touch. The money is serious now. Not street money, real money, more than you know what to do with cleanly. You learn about shell companies, about real estate, about the way money can be washed through a legitimate business until it comes out the other side looking like it was earned honestly. You are good at this. You are frighteningly good at this. But the corridor attracts attention. A DEA task force starts mapping the network. 2 of your drivers get arrested. They don't talk, but the arrests create gaps in the operation. The people above you want answers. In this organization, answers are not optional. You provide them. You don't think about what happens to the people who caused the gaps. You can't afford to think about it. You call your daughter on her 3rd birthday. She says, "Daddy," on the phone for the first time. You sit in a parking lot for 20 minutes after the call ends. Then you go back to work. Level 6, the lieutenant. You're 30. You answer to one person, a man you've met 4 times in person, each time in a different country. Each time you were searched before entering the room and searched again leaving it. You manage multiple operators now, an entire regional network. The corridor you used to run is now one of 6 corridors under your coordination. You don't touch product. You haven't touched product in years. Your hands are clean in the way that hands can be clean when someone else is doing the touching. Decisions come to you. Personnel decisions, route decisions, response decisions when something goes wrong. Something is always going wrong somewhere. The organization is too large, too complex, too human to run without friction. Your job is to minimize friction. In this context, minimizing friction sometimes means things that would not survive daylight. The DEA knows your name now, not your real name. A name they've assigned to you based on intercepts and informants and surveillance photographs where you're always facing away from the camera because you learned that before you learned anything else. You change your routines constantly. You don't sleep in the same place 2 nights running. Your daughter is 7. She lives with her mother in a city 2 states away under a different last name. You pay for everything. You are present for nothing. She asks her mother why her father doesn't come to her school plays. Her mother doesn't have an answer that's true. You tell yourself you're protecting her by staying away. Some nights you believe it. Level 7. The Ghost. You're 34 and you don't exist. Not officially. The name on your passport isn't yours. The face in your passport photograph is yours, but the man behind it belongs to a legend built by people who build legends for a living. You have 3 passports, 3 names, 3 versions of a life that never happened. You move between countries the way most people move between rooms, a week in one city, 4 days in another. You never announce your movements. The people who need to find you know how to find you. Everyone else finding you would be a problem measured in hours. You are the organization's problem solver. When something breaks above the operator level, you fix it. When a government official stops cooperating, you find out why, and you restore the cooperation by whatever method is required. When a rival organization encroaches on a corridor, you respond in the language that rival organizations understand. You have not fired a weapon yourself in 6 years. You don't need to. You have people for that. What you do is worse in some ways. You make decisions from a distance, and other people carry them out. And the distance is supposed to insulate you from the weight of it. It doesn't. You are 34 years old, and you are exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't fix. The vigilance never stops. Every room you enter, you map the exits. Every person you meet, you evaluate as a threat. Every phone call that comes at an unusual hour makes your stomach drop before you answer. You think about the corner sometimes, the $20 a day, the simplicity of watching and waiting and going home. You can't go home. You haven't had a home in 4 years. Level 8. The End. There is no retirement in this organization. You know this. You've always known this. The men at the top don't step down. They get arrested, they get killed, or they disappear into a protection program that amounts to a smaller prison with better food. You have $40 million spread across accounts in 7 countries. You have assets in 4 more. You have enough money to live quietly and invisibly for the rest of your life, if you can get to it cleanly, and if the organization lets you go, and if the DEA doesn't find you first. 3 very large ifs. The arrests start at the edges of the network. Small operators, drivers, lookouts who've been flipped and turned into sources. Each arrest is a thread being pulled. You can see the pattern from where you sit. Someone above you is making mistakes born from arrogance and age and the belief that size equals safety. You make a decision. Not the decision you expected to make at 36. Not the ending you imagined on that corner when you were 14 with $20 in your pocket and nothing to lose. You contact a lawyer. The lawyer contacts a federal prosecutor. The conversation is careful and takes 3 weeks, and at the end of it, there is a number of years, a number that is not the rest of your life. You take it. The morning you walk into the federal building to begin the process that will dismantle the organization you spent 20 years building, you think about your daughter. She's 10 now. In 2 years, she'll be 12. In 5, she'll be 15. The age you were on that corner with the prepaid phone and the $20. You were doing this so she never stands on that corner. Whether it's too late for that, you won't know for years. You walk through the door. Somewhere right now, a 14-year-old is standing on a corner with a prepaid phone. The man who recruited him is 17 and has new shoes and a phone that works and respect from people who should know better. The 14-year-old thinks he's just watching. He doesn't know he already belongs to it. He'll find out, 1 level at a time.